last year, the original NBA Playground shot its way onto the scene, formally revitalizing the dormant subgenre of arcade basketball games. Personally, I was pleased with the game. I found it quite fun and more inviting than the simulator-esque titles like NBA 2K. As for this year's outing, Playgrounds 2, I still like it. However, some things are rather different, and a lot of these changes simply cannot be ignored. For starters, you surely would have already noticed that the new Playgrounds is now also a part of the NBA 2K family, with its full title being NBA 2K Playgrounds 2. Yikes, that's a tongue twister. Just before its original launch, which was supposed to be the summer of 2018, Playgrounds 2 was delayed. At the time, we didn't really know why, but its resurgence a few months later with the 2K branding gave a pretty clear answer as to what happened. 2K Games' formal backing of the new Playgrounds has brought with it some changes that are sure to make a lot of gamers upset. Let's just get it out of the way. Yes, NBA 2K Playgrounds 2 does have microtransactions. It's a sports game in 2018, and even more so, it's a 2K-backed game in 2018. If it didn't have microtransactions, that would actually be a surprise. The controversial coinage comes in the form of golden bucks. These golden bucks are used to buy loot box-esque card packs that contain clothes to customize your roster of players with, along with other items. But that's about it. Nothing groundbreaking. Thus, you can avoid opening your real wallet unless you actually want to, especially since you'll also earn these golden bucks in-game, albeit very slowly. That said, Playground 2's economy has undergone even more changes. Like its predecessor, you unlock new players by means of the aforementioned card packs. Just as there are card packs for clothes, there are also card packs for players. You buy these player packs using regular baller bucks, which the game awards far more generously than golden bucks. That said, unlocking new players does quickly turn into a grindfest. The various tiers of character packs, bronze, silver, and gold, come at a very high virtual price. So, building your roster will take some time. The game locks the players with the best stats, they are referred to as legendary players, behind gold and silver character packs. Thus, it encourages you to play continuously to rack up these baller bucks so you can buy more character packs. It must also be noted that players can be bought outright using the normal baller bucks, but this can take even more time because the prices for characters are absurdly high. As I said, this is much more grind heavy than the original NBA Playgrounds. It doesn't help that the progression system, if I can even call it that, is almost completely different this time. In the original Playgrounds, you progress through the career mode by playing on various courts around the world. NBA 2K Playgrounds 2 does feature a new selection of global courts, but that world tour from the original game is now completely gone. Instead, the only way for you to play on these courts is by competing in your own custom-made exhibition matches, or by going online in the new championship mode. Indeed, the online component of NBA 2K Playgrounds 2 is far more integrated than the original game. The only other offline modes are the new 3-point contest and NBA season modes. 3-point contest speaks for itself, so let's talk about the NBA season mode. Here, you pick 2 characters from the same NBA team and go against 2 other NBA players from the various teams during a season. Your goal is to reach the playoffs and then the finals. The thing is, you always play on the same stadium-like court. The only difference is that the team banners change depending on who you're competing against. Thus, the 10 Playground global courts are literally only reserved for offline and online exhibition matches. This seems like a bit of a waste. After all, these courts do appear far better designed than in the previous game. They now feature more character models and background objects, which make the atmosphere of these courts more lively. Speaking of more lively, that also applies to the gameplay mechanics too. Honestly, playing NBA 2K Playgrounds 2 feels like an interactive sports anime. Like the original, there are the over-the-top dunks and special moves, which are only performed by legendary characters, along with a lottery-style power-up system similar to kart racers. But it's all cranked up to 11 this time around. There's far more visual flair with even more insane moves. They also appear to have smoother, more fluid animation than before. Between all the insane flips, tricks, and sick jumps, cannot convince me otherwise that all these players have superpowers. There's even a brand new camera system which transitions the camera to more behind the players, which I find adds more depth to the scene and makes these amazing shots look all the more amazing. If real basketball looked like this, I'd probably be the biggest fan ever. The gameplay also feels a lot more balanced due to an improved shot meter and adjustments made to the AI behavior. You can also select the difficulty level of the AI on your own. I've been having a lot more fun with Playgrounds 2 over the original thanks to these improved gameplay mechanics and visual elements, and seeing that your players get better the more you use them, as they all earn experience points after every match, is certainly a good thing that the gameplay is a step up. But the other changes I mentioned earlier do put a bit of a damper on things, like the increased online element. Playing online has actually been decent. I've only run into about one dropped game so far due to a connection error, but other than that, it's been pretty smooth. However, I cannot ignore the fact that one day the Playgrounds 2 user base is going to drop, and if not before that, the servers will eventually shut down. So if and when this happens, that's going to essentially nuke the entire championship mode. I find it baffling that I can't compete in a real career style match against AI players like in the first game on those global courts. Sure, you can still make your own exhibition matches as I mentioned before, but those are just one-off games, so you have to keep resetting it every time you want to play against someone else. The offline season mode is not the best replacement due to being limited to the same generic court. So the only saving grace of NBA 2K Playgrounds 2 really is the improved gameplay, but that's still a decent saving grace nonetheless. If you can overlook the heavier integration of the online component and the microtransactions, which again are pretty avoidable, then there's a really good chance you'll still have a lot of fun with NBA 2K Playgrounds 2, regardless of whether you played the first one or not. For me, as someone who knows next to nothing about basketball, I still find this more arcadey style of game to be more engaging and far less intimidating than the real 2K, although I found that I actually do like that series as well. Check out my amateur's review of 2K19, shameless plug. The sheer insanity of Playgrounds on-screen madness truly keeps me motivated to come back to the game again and again, but it's those few unnecessary backward changes that keep Playgrounds 2 from being a true champion.